What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah? Keep listening. What time is...
Hello and welcome into the Thursday edition of your show, the number one ranked podcast on YouTube that features a bunch of 18-year-old kids building and running everything. Very rare out there these days, so shout out to our production team or producer team. I'm not sure which one it is. Either way, we got the Phenom in the house. Here's the proof. Look at that. Working hard like he always does. And I know you've been asking, and it is true, he is just a hand. We're working by the Addams family rules around here. So he's the hand that just, the thing that just walks around and pushes all the buttons and keeps us on track. So always happy to have him here with us, and always happy to have you here with us. My name is Gary. Welcome to the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. Welcome to your show. And with that in mind, I want to say real quick, we got 2 new shows dropping today. All Out of Angst Podcast, Episode 6. Find it anywhere you find your audio-only podcasting shows, including everything from Amazon to Google Books or Apple Books and everything in between. You just Google it, you'll find it. It's a lot of fun. That's featuring the great Uncle Mike and his All Natural Products and our buddy Matt from All the Bands. As well, a new Dude podcast dropping today, Episode 3, featuring Coach Mazer, who is scheduled to be on the show today. We're not sure if he'll be in studio or by Zoom, so we look very forward to catching up with him and maybe talking a little bit about the latest episode, as the Dude podcasts are always so much fun. If you're into like mindless humor and a bunch of just really funny jokes that go like this, like quick cuts after big conversations. It's a lot of fun, is the point. We also have a very tired Margaret here today, as she's fresh from a walk. So let's see what she's up to right now with the Maggie Cam. Look at her. You can tell that tongue's just hanging out. You're on camera now, Marge. Yeah, be cute. There you go. And now she's going to finally try to get a little nap in before supper time. The Maggie Cam for our incredible friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, Mike and Rochelle and Maggie's boyfriend, Leroy, always there to make your day better. No matter what your pet needs, they got you covered, I promise you. And if you go in after work or on the weekend, you'll see Kirsten, Shar, or Chris, and they will continue to give you that top quality level of excellence that we've grown to expect from our incredible friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. As Margaret slowly drifts off into puppy dreamland, we'll let her go, and we will move in to our first guest. Thursdays around here, a lot of fun, and we check in with a special guy. I'm always trying to figure out what the best way is to transition into these previously recorded segments, and I always end up saying exactly what I say at the start of them, so I'm going to try to mix that up a little bit by saying something totally different. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe we'll just go, Phenom, roll that tape. Thursday traditions continue.
That's
Ladies
right.
and
That's
gentlemen,
right.
CTV's Matt Young back in the saddle. Had a week
yeah.
off last week because his real life job is very important, and he is an important guy. So we're so grateful to have you back.
Well, you're an important guy, so it's so great to be back.
Oh,
exactly.
no.
There you go.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I've had a good week. Been bustling around Saskatoon, and I mean, there's lots going on. Huskies are playing.
Yeah,
Hilltops
all the
are
sports
playing.
are rolling.
The Berries, they had a pretty deep playoff run, so that was
hey?
good.
Shout out to them.
And you gotta enjoy these last few weeks, because summer, I hate to say it, guys, it doesn't last forever here.
Oh. It feels
let's
like
enjoy it.
It feels like it doesn't even last for a second.
I mean, it's
right.
I
It's so
felt like it's
dumb
like
how fast
May-Long
it
weekend was just yesterday, and
Literally.
now Labor Day. So yeah.
Anyways, enough about that.
Well,
I
that's
see
okay.
You've come bearing gifts, my friend. Look at all this.
Yes, I've come bearing gifts, as you can see. We've got some N64 controllers. We got some regular Nintendo. We got Super Nintendo. We got Sega Genesis. Who can forget Sega Genesis, right? Well, what we're going to do today is, of course, if you're inside and you're playing old video games, I do a lot of video game modding to try and promote Saskatoon stuff, because I love Saskatoon.
Check his stuff out, by the way. It's so good.
Yeah, that's right. On Twitter, we post all kinds of things. And you know what? when you have an old video game system, you want to make it last.
Yes.
But there's nothing worse than turning it on and you're gung-ho to play Mario 3 or NES Golf or Mega Man or Donkey Kong Country, whatever you like.
All the bangers.
And the buttons are sticky and they don't work or something's not.
Man, NES Open specifically, I'll
NES
tell you,
Open,
when you got to hit that at just the right time to hit
it's
a good
got to be
shot,
perfect.
and
It's got to be
lots
perfect.
of times I'll hit the button and it won't actually activate, and then
next
lose
thing
a
you
stroke.
know, it's a triple bogey.
Yeah, and then
like,
you're throwing the controller at the TV and swearing out loud. It's the usual Nintendo dance.
Right here in Saskatoon, I'm going to show you, show everyone, our audience, how you can, over the next several weeks, how you can preserve your old video game systems, controllers, accessories, and games.
Maintenance.
And this is easy stuff that you can do with stuff that you probably have right in your own house. So today we're going to take a Sega Genesis controller. Sega Genesis, by the way.
The most unique controllers by far,
yeah,
hey?
Yeah, and Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Yeah,
Who can forget
that's
Sonic,
it.
right? So if we want to zoom in here, this is a Sega Genesis controller, and sometimes you'll notice that the buttons, they wear out after a little while, right?
Watch this.
So we'll zoom in, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you how to basically just put a little extra care and maintenance into your Sega controller, so that you can play it for longer and it can last a long time, and see how close you can zoom in, and then we'll get right in there and we can show you that. So this is real simple. So all the Sega controller has is on the back. It has 6 screws that you just need a basic screwdriver for right here, right?
Are we
It's
diving
not a
in?
flathead.
Are
Yo,
we
we're gonna open it up.
we're
gonna
cracking
open it
her
up.
open,
We're gonna
okay.
open it up,
we
and
go.
I'm gonna do this right here, and we'll just all it is 6 screws, and they come out quite easily. It's not that difficult, right? And I got 1, 3, 4, and anybody
that
can
close
do this.
enough?
You're not gonna get electrocuted. Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
You're not gonna get electrocuted. Nothing like that. 5.
Yeah, it's not plugged in. You're good.
Yeah, you're not plugged in. You're not gonna. You obviously you could ruin anything, but it's pretty tough to ruin something like this. So
Absolutely.
it should slowly come out. You just kind of gotta. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it a little bit. I just gotta make sure I got all these.
I'm just
screws
crushing
out
the
of there the
cameraman
whole
duties
way.
right now, by the way.
I love it. I love it. Okay, and
The
come
receiver
on.
for this remote is always, now here it goes. Focus. Nice.
There we go. I almost got it out. I just gotta.
I've always
undo
wondered what it looked
this.
like inside one of these things.
You know what? You'll see. And what it is so I got it off right there. And so this is just a backing plate, right? There's nothing really on here. But if I flip it over, that's what's
Look
inside.
at that. It's that simple. Hey, I always thought there was so much more in there.
No. There's not a whole lot in these controllers. And all we're going to do is really a lot of the times it just needs to be cleaned. Because over the years, you're eating pizza, you get, food or whatever, you get grease in there.
Just a
so really
sweat.
this just needs to be cleaned. So when you take apart a Sega Genesis controller, like here's the other side where the buttons are.
Yeah, that's the
if I
side we
flip it
know.
over, there's this little wire here, right?
So crazy.
And I'm just going to pull this out
Oh,
just
no
like
way.
that.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
And now here's the controller, right? And this is the little circuit board that the buttons bounce off of. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to do 2 things. Number 1, we want to take this circuit board and want to clean it a little bit, right?
Okay.
Okay. So you got to be careful with it. I mean, you don't want to, swing it around like a lasso here.
Yeah.
But all I'm going to take is you want to just kind of like a nice fine cloth.
Okay.
And the next thing you want to get is you want to get a little, this is isopropyl. You can buy this at like Shoppers Drug Mart
Yeah,
for like
see,
$5, $10.
and that's the stuff where if you ever have issues with your cartridge, you just get
That's
a Q-tip and put it on and
exactly,
just hit it.
exactly.
I've used the isopropyl
So we're
before.
kind of doing that only with a controller, right? So I'm going to spray some
Little spritzy.
isopropyl on this cloth here, and is there a fly in there?
Yeah, he's driving me nuts.
Well, maybe he has a controller that needs to be fixed. And we're just going to take this. We're just going to lightly rub it and lightly clean it.
Oh, that's
and
strong.
wanna
You
be
can smell it.
careful. Yeah, you can. And sometimes, now everybody's gonna have a different way of doing this. I use a little toothbrush, right?
that.
And I sometimes just like to scrub it a little bit.
And
right?
do you have to be like extra gentle or?
Well, you do. You don't want to press down too
Yeah.
hard, but you want to just kind of let the isopropyl do its work, right?
Okay.
So you just kind of, I just kind of scrub it along there, right? And then I'll maybe spray a little bit more on the toothbrush here, and you want to just clean the contacts where the buttons contact the actual printed circuit board, right? And then what that does is that cleans that, right? And then I'll take my little cloth again, and I'll just kind of lightly dab it and dry it off myself. Some people say you don't really need to dry it off that much. I personally like to do that.
You're
This
a
is what's
perfectionist.
This is what works for me.
Look
Okay,
how
so
cool-
now we got,
look how cool that looks.
and so it's nice and clean now, right?
Yes.
And you want to look at it and make sure that your solder joints and everything are good. And usually on the back side here, on the side where it's sort of like a tan colored, it's going to be better, right? So that's that. Now I'm going to just put this down just gently here on this table.
Okay.
And then the next thing that we're going to do, now this is the front side of the controller, right? This is what you'd actually. So what you want to do is these buttons here. If I push on it, right, there's no backing. Whoa, and it actually just came out. Pull it right up. And there's not.
There you go.
All it is there's a button, right? Here's your D-pad button, let's say.
Okay.
Right, and then there's a little pad here, right? And that pad, I'll put this down. When you push the button, you're actually pushing these little black pads against the printed circuit board, and that actually is what
That's
creates
your
movement.
direction pad.
Right, exactly. So all you want to do is you want to take this and you want to just really clean it, right? And it's just a little rubber thing. You'll find it goes in and out quite quickly. You want to take this, you want to just clean this little area here, right?
Look at that.
Because what happens is it gets dirty, it gets messy, hair gets in there or something like that.
Anything, yeah.
And then I just like to quickly dry it off, right? And you'll want to do that with all your buttons, okay? And then how do you put it back on? Well, it's actually quite easy.
You say that. I was looking at this thing. I said, how is he going to pull this off?
So how do you put it back on? Well, this part here, this D-pad, it has little notches on it, okay? You can see if I can spin it around. You can see
there they are.
notches right
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right? And they just fit right into
of course.
the space. And there's only
4 little notches
that's right.
in there for it
so
to
now
go.
it just if I can move this up a little bit, I'll do it again. I can take it out, right? It just fits into the back side of the controller. There's kind of only one way it can go in there.
You're doing really good, by the way.
And then what you do is you take your little rubber pad that you just cleaned off, right? And it just fits on 2 little notches right here, and right here.
Man,
Okay.
have you practiced this
little
on camera before?
Not on camera.
This is
No,
incredible.
not on
I'm
camera.
just like to
No, this
be
is
able
the-
to do this.
But you got it.
Very impressive.
Well, it's okay. So then what we have is you have your these are your A, B, and C buttons. And again, all these do is I can push this, right? You
and they
see
just
that?
push in, yeah.
And you just push it and it comes out, right? And I take the little rubber pad off. And again, you just want to take it and just clean it a little bit.
Just a
because
tiny little spritz.
yeah, you don't need much. You don't need much. Oh, sorry, I'll try and do it on the cloth here.
Oh, don't worry about that. This table's seen a lot of action.
But yeah, you just want to clean things, right? Because stuff gets dirty. You want to be careful. You want to be clean. You'd be surprised what a little cleaning can do.
Yeah.
So then we take it, and we put this rubber pad. We just put it back in the little slot like that.
Does it have the same notches as the directional pad?
There are no notches. It just fits
it just
right
goes
in.
right
It
in.
just is
Even
perfectly
easier, yeah.
Yeah, it just fits right in. That's all there is to it, right?
Perfect.
Now I have this one right here. This one actually just fell out. And again, I want you to see. I don't know if you can see it directly on camera, but between these two, this middle one right here, it's a little dirtier than this one. And
Ooh,
I don't know
like
if you can
that.
see it, but you can see the difference. So if we clean it, right? And I'll just do it again right here. We'll clean it, and then it goes right on, and we'll just, again, that's all we got to do, right? You just want to get some of the grease and crap out of there that gets in there, because I don't know about you, but I like to have pizza on my plate.
Oh, yeah.
There
All the
you go.
time.
Oh yeah.
And I have sweat. My hands sweat a
Oh
lot
yeah,
when I
mine
game.
too.
Yeah,
Especially when it
super
gets
sweaty.
tense.
Yeah.
You know, you get into
Yeah.
a game with somebody and it's like, you got to make that shot. Right?
It's
you
been
can
an-
feel your fingers shaking.
It's been an issue for me. Like I've
Yeah.
slowly transitioned into
Yeah.
doing knuckles instead of handshakes
Oh,
a lot of
there
the
you
time
go.
because I'm always so embarrassed by my sweaty hands.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So then you put this back in here, okay, right? So then now when you're done, right, all you got to do is take your little printed circuit board here.
Yes, here we go. Because
and
this is what I want to see.
Remember, the green side, not the tan side, the green side is going to be facing the buttons.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire out of the way. And what you want to do is the wire always goes obviously at the top side.
It's got to go through that top
so
loop
if I do
there.
that, it's got to go through this top loop.
Yeah.
So all you're going to do is you're going to take it, and I'll try and do this the best I can so everybody can see it on camera. Yeah, you want to grab that wire
Yes,
there?
you betcha.
Okay, and we're just going to take it, and we're just going to put it like this, just like that. And that wire goes right in there. Here we go.
Look at that.
Right in there.
It's so crazy when you think about the design of the controller compared to the
And how
little
it works.
motherboard, right?
Yeah, there we go. We'll put that. You gotta fit it there. You go. It just kind of snaps in, and then once it's in, okay. Now you're essentially your controller is put back together. Okay.
Wow.
Now all we're gonna do next, is really we just got to put the backing on. Now, how does this? You'll know you're lined up because what there is, and I'll see if you can see them. See these little holes right here?
Yeah.
And right there.
Yeah.
And right there. Those have to line up so that you put the screws in it.
That's where it goes back together.
Right.
Okay.
So then you just put this back on here, like this.
Come on.
And this is it's a lot easier when you're doing it, when you're trying not to do it on camera, because
Yeah,
I'm trying
well,
to
this
like
is
coordinate and all that sort of thing.
the first time
But
we've
if
tried this.
here, I'm actually gonna
The good part
I'm gonna
is-
take the screws off, so that's easier.
There you
And
go.
then this just slides on here, and then now you are ready to put your screws back in.
The best part is we get an extreme close-up of you the whole time as well, which I really appreciate. This is awesome.
So now, essentially, your controller. Now you put your screws in there, right? You put your screws back in, and that's not too hard to do. I mean, and you probably zoom out now.
All right,
so
here we go.
so you put your screws back in, and then you're pretty much set to go, right? So
Absolutely.
so this is I mean, it's something. You're preserving your video game controllers because they're going to wear out, right? They're going to, over time, they're not going to be, they're not going to always be perfect. And of course, all the grease and all that sort of thing, right? Over time, you're going to find that preserving your video game controllers, it's worth it.
These are the things that
absolutely worth it.
we
And-
wish we could have did when we were growing up, right? It would have saved us a lot of issues.
Like I wish there was like a podcast where I could go on and like learn stuff about what it's gonna take.
We're
to
doing
make
it
So
right here.
So now that's with Sega Genesis controls. I'll finish putting the rest of the screws in after. But over the next 6 weeks, we're gonna unlock a few secrets here because everybody, where does that white powder come from?
What is that
in
stuff?
N64
Yes.
controllers that causes your joystick to sort of deform a bit and it doesn't
it
sit up
gets
straight,
wonky,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that. There's a fix that if you have a good N64 controller where the joystick is still pretty tight, right?
Yeah.
There's a way that you can fix it so that doesn't happen, and you will have an extra 20 years of playing time on your controller without your joystick ever wearing out.
I know lots of people that wouldn't want that to happen because they love using the excuse of the broken controller.
They can say, "Oh,
That's
wow,
all
my
it's
controller's not as tight."
Our guy Network Ryan
I would
around
have been
here.
good, yeah.
He does that all the time when we
Exactly.
play Super Smash Bros. Like, oh, it's the controller, it's the
Oh,
controller.
and they you always try and blame the controller. I've used the excuse myself
we
a
all
few
have.
times.
It's part of gaming. We know that.
So this is something you can do, and we're going to look at like your system, your N64, your Super Nintendo, your regular Nintendo. You'll notice that after a while they turn yellow,
Yeah.
right? There's a way to fix that without repainting it. You don't need to repaint it. There's a way, an at-home way in your own house or backyard that you can fix that. We're going to show you how to do that. So over the next 6 weeks, if you have a Nintendo system, a Super Nintendo, a Sega, a regular Nintendo, a Nintendo 64, anything like that, please watch because these are going to be valuable tips that you're going to learn over the next little while to help make your games survive so that the next generation, so that when you're older and you want to challenge your son in Tech Mobile or whoever it might be, you can win.
See, and this seems like one of those special things. Maybe we'll turn this into, because as you know at home, these are recorded segments
Yep.
because CTV's Matt Young
Yep.
is CTV's Matt Young.
There
he has
you
to run
go.
CTV. So with that in mind, maybe once this is all done, we can make a little channel specifically just for these segments.
Yeah,
It'll be like a
yeah.
little feature.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll show people how to do stuff, and it's you'll be surprised how easy it is. I know some people, you bring out tools and electrical things and they get it's actually quite simple. It's
just proved it right
pretty
there.
hard to break a controller in a way that would be threatening to you or even the controller. This is more just maintenance. So we're going to show you how to make your joysticks better, your Nintendo controllers better, your Super Nintendo controllers better, and then everything's going to be fantastic, and you guys will be playing games forever.
This is why we love it so much
Yes.
every time you stop by.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is CTV's Matt Young. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I look very forward to working on these next ones as we move down the road on this fun little feature that you started.
Next week we'll do the N64 controllers, and we'll show you the joysticks. They'll be working great after we're done with them. Thanks very
Great
much.
teaser. Thank you, brother. There you go, the great CTV's Matt Young, as we start a brand new series here on your show, all about maintenance and making sure your old video game systems still operate, because that's another one of the many things we love to do around here is retro gaming. Just like with our Twitch stream, Dufferin Avenue Media over at twitch.com. You can find us there. We got a couple of world records that we're holding down right now, and always a lot of fun as we move forward with that adventure and some big things from CTV's Matt Young as well with the Twitch stream, I believe, as we are going to expand our video game, I guess, prowess, if that's a word. And he's a big part of that. So very cool. I've always wondered why these controllers. Think about how many controllers you've gone through over the however many years that have just fallen apart just from overuse. And we talked about it before. All the pizza you eat when you're playing video games and all the hair and grease and everything that gets into those poor controllers, they can't really operate at their full potential. And around here, and I'd mentioned it to Matt Young as well, when we do Twitch stream and we play our Super Smash Brothers and Network, Ryan is in the house. The very first thing and the only thing he says over and over is, oh, these controllers. Oh, these controllers. Oh, the controllers. Rah, 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 rah. So we'll get, maybe we won't even tell him. Maybe we'll just fix up one of the controllers to have it in perfect condition, perfect operating controller. And then when he goes to say, oh, the controller's going to be like, oh, we got you. That controller is actually mint condition now. It'll be pretty fun. Thank you again to Matt Young. Hammer Time Roofing. Shout out to Kevin and our team over there. Doing a lot of great things as they have come on board. And if you ever want to be like Kevin and Hammer Time Roofing, you want to be a part of this amazing endeavor, it's real easy. All you got to do is head over to dufferinav.com and you can find all that good stuff. Look at that. Ooh. We also have our email has been streamlined. So if you want to email us, say it's too hard for you to go to dufferinav.com. This is a very nice one. Hold it like that. That's okay. Email us at contact@dufferinav.com and we can get all. Look at that. Look. Jeez. My man. The Phenom. That's why we call him the Phenom. That was a little lower, a little bit tougher to set up. But that's how you get a hold of us. If you want to start a show, if you have an event coming up, if you have something going on that could use a little bit of help, could use a little push to let people know what you're doing and what it's all about, get in touch with us. We're real easy to connect with, and then we do a bunch of amazing, amazing things around here. I always say, no dreams are too big when it comes to this place. It's a content creation studio, and it's here to do just that, create content, and to help make this world a better place. That's been sort of the calling card for a long time, is karma is very, very real. That's why I'd love to end the show with that statement. It's something I did at the old place as well on the radio. And it stays true today. We need to start remembering back when the world was a great place to live in and when people were thinking about others instead of themselves. And if you fit in that, hit us up and we can make that all happen. Just want to get that out as well. A big hello to our friend Dax and the team over at propertyguys.com. They've signed on as well with us and they're doing some good things over there, so you can reach out to him and get involved with all of that. SCS, you see that right there? SCS. I was talking to the owner yesterday on the phone right before the show. And he says, business has never been more busy. We were trying to find a time to go golfing. And he had mentioned that he doesn't have any of that time as we have a fantasy football draft coming up. And now with this one, it's called the Fantasy Hand Egg League because our commissioner heard someone reference football as hand egg. And it's stuck, and it's quite catchy. So what we do with that one, as I'm sure you're going, or getting ready to do your fantasy football drafts. This weekend I got one for the Bobby Goodtimes draft. Shout out to the great Bobby Goodtimes. A original contributor to the Kyle and Gary Super Awesome podcast. And he had to move the date a couple times, but it looks like Saturday is when it will be going down. So with that in mind, the fantasy football season has officially begun. Mr. SCS over there, in that league that we're in, there's a golf round that goes on before the draft. 2 teams, Texas Scramble, and whichever team wins the match gets an extra $10 of auction money for the draft. So that's like a really cool way, if you're ever wondering how you can spice up your fantasy football drafts in any way, you start messing with auction money, or if you have a pick draft like we do in the Daffle draft, shout out to everyone there, getting ready for that one beginning of next week. It's fun to play for like first overall pick instead of just letting the random generator do it for you. You go out there and you play some golf or do something neat like that. So looking very forward to getting out and doing a little bit of fantasy football drafting. Another thing going on this weekend, the Gambate Convention at TCU Place. We are going to be present there. I'm going to pick up some signs tomorrow for our little booth. And we got a panel going on with the great Uncle Brando and your good friend Ryan from the Commander Cookout podcast. And unfortunately, we ran into a little bit of it's been a day around here, as we got this big weekend coming up. Tomorrow we're recording a couple more episodes of the One Bad podcast, as well as putting out episode 14 tomorrow morning. I just got it all ready to rock, and it looks absolutely amazing, like all of their shows. If you haven't checked out One Bad podcast yet, I promise you, you will not regret taking a peek. It's such a cool behind-the-scenes look at a band that we've all held and still hold near and dear to our hearts to this day. With their 20-year anniversary, they decided this would be the place to put out that podcast, because they've been talking about doing one, and they just didn't really have a way to do it. There it is. Look at that. New shows. Friday, tomorrow. So that will be dropping, and we're so happy to have them as we continue to record and put out these amazing episodes. So Network Ryan last night, and this is why it was a bit of a day today. He was being a hero. He was being the greatest recreational sports athlete in the history of mankind on the slow pitch field, the slow pitch diamond last night. And making an incredible dive, sliding foot first. So a foot first slide into second base. He got the leg caught underneath, and after that, it went a little bit south on him. As he said, the guy at second base heard the pop, and his tibia went like that. And all I could think of, and it's the same with our buddy Johnny Dufferin, he went out playing slow pitch, non-competitive, and made a big diving catch, but broke his collarbone right up here. Network Ryan makes the big slide, and my first thing is, well, were you safe? Please tell me you were safe. He's like, of course I was safe. So it was good to know he didn't even get under the slide. He just sort of went through it, and the guy dropped the ball, but safe nonetheless. So with him getting ready for surgery and all that, we are sort of going into scramble mode over the next couple of days as we get set for the big weekend at the Gambate Convention over at TCU Place. So all of our love and positive thoughts heading out to Network Ryan as he begins his recovery of this broken tibia that he's got. And hopefully he's doing well as well. Another member of our team, Brooksy, you know her from all the social medias. We love her, and she had herself a day. So thinking of you, buddy. Keep up the great work as we continue moving forward on this Thursday. Now, you'd be, I guess, excused if you didn't know that there was a Rough Rider game tonight, as the Riders get set to take on the Argos. It's going to be one hell of a football game. Trevor Harris back as your starting quarterback again, and the Riders looking to bounce back. Lost 2 in a row now. Lost one to the Elks, the worst team in the league, and then lost one to a third-string quarterback last week. So we'll see if they can right the ship. Normally, we got our Rider Insider. We're not cool enough to get the great Jamie Nye, the greatest Rider Insider in the history of everything and everyone everywhere. You know him from the Green Zone. It's my dude. I love you, Nyeballs. Best in the biz, him and Drew Amenda. So good. And Britton Gray and Scotty Villa. Such an incredible team over there on the Green Zone. And just love, love, love everything that they do. Our Rider Insider, LB, I asked him if he could come on, as it's his day off today, even though he was here this morning, always working. And I asked him, dude, can you come in and maybe do a quick little Rider preview? And his response was, is it okay if I do it in the bathroom of Boston Pizza? Shout out to Boston Pizza. I love Boston Pizza, by the way. And I said, of course it is. And then he said, I was just joking. I was like, oh, of course you were. Yes, that makes sense. But that's one of the amazing things that we can offer at this place, is we can reach you anytime, anywhere with our Zoom capabilities, as we continue to wait for coach number 2, who's supposed to be joining us by Zoom or in studio as we move forward on this lovely little Thursday. So we don't got LB, but we can tell you it's the Riders taking on the Argos. And with that in mind, we have a man who has arrived while we are live on the air. We don't need no Zoom. I could take the earpiece out that I was going to use, but I forgot it was there. Because Sound Hearing Impressions, Cassandra and the team over there, the greatest business in the history of hearing. They make these custom ones. Normally, before we got these, I would always be messing with it and like trying to get it in there, and it would keep falling out. Now I forget it's in there. So shout out to our friends Cassandra and the team over at Sound Hearing Impressions. We love you guys so, so much. And all the love to all of the people that are a part of this amazing adventure we've embarked on Nickel Plumbing and Heating, Deneb Finishing, Dr. Hausman and Associates for the tooth booth over here. Love those guys. And many, many, many more. As our man has now arrived. We haven't done that yet. We're going to... Well, no, it sounded like that for the 3-man. I just wanted the green screen up, so when you do a walk-up, we're going to have this camera shoot over at the green screen. Well, I know it's not set up for it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this man some walk-up music. Well, instead of talking off-screen, let's talk on-screen. You know him from the Dude podcast. You know him from being around here. He is my brain. He is my body. He is my everything. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Coach number 2. Woo! I know you don't have an earpiece.
Earpiece. How are we doing today?
Did you lock down our endorsement with BioSteel yet?
No.
Damn it. So
But I told you that other thing. I don't know what their deal is. They still exist, obviously, but then there's this new brand called Quench.
Yeah, and you were saying that was like an
and it's
offshoot
like the
of it.
same everything. Boxes, the same...
Is it the same company?
It's not the same company, but it might be... remember Saks underwear?
Are you kidding me? They were the originators of the cloud for your undercarriage.
That company kind of split. The creators had a conflict of interest, and they kind of went their separate ways. And then other underwear created out of this. You know
two
what I mean?
unders?
Like the 2 unders and...
What's the other big one?
What's the other one?
Am I wearing them? Oh,
You got the 2 undies.
I got the 2 undies. There's another one.
Anyway.
There's Saks 2 undies, and
And then there's that other one.
Yeah.
My Package.
My Package. I've had all of them, and they are all amazing. It's
Anyway,
about time
so I
that people
feel-
started treating our downstairs like women's upstairs, Give them a nice little carriage to float around on instead of, hey.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think they do. You just got to find it.
That's it.
You just got to
Absolutely.
look on.
So you're
Reebok or
And
something.
again, we should be thankful that all of these businesses have been created to take care of us downstairs.
That's true. Anyway, we were talking about drinks, and Quench and BioSteel seem to be the exact same thing.
Yes.
Like down to the charts of look at these brands compared to us, like the same blue border as that was on the BioSteel websites on this. So I'm confused as to who had control of what and how they can just do that. But Quench
start
has
looking
Nathan
into
McKinnon
He's a pretty
signed
good
in,
hockey
where
player, yeah.
BioSteel's lost everything. So it's like, are they just going down the same path where they're going to get all these big
I
names?
see what you're saying.
And then they're just going to go...
Or are they going to steal all the names
Under.
from BioSteel? 'Cause
I don't
BioSteel did, remember when it was first
It
coming
was
out?
rolling.
You were such a huge... You were the guy that got me on it. You
Yeah,
show up to
so
hockey, everyone get a BioSteel in. Let's all get fueled up.
It was just the Jays. The Blue Jays were the ones
Yeah.
drinking
Drink
it,
pink.
and you could
Remember
tell that
drink
it
pink?
wasn't the Gatorade on the bench.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not Gatorade.
They
what
were
are they
mixing
drinking?
them in their own drinks.
What
and it was
makes
always
them
pink.
superior athletes? So then I started drinking it, and now look at me today.
Dude, you laugh, but you
Yeah.
are probably one of the greatest recreational sports players I've ever had the pleasure of sharing a field or a rink with.
Thanks.
Did you hear the news?
No,
Network Ryan?
you told me. I was supposed to pretend that I didn't know. What happened?
I know. I told the whole story while I was dancing, waiting for
Mm-hmm.
me to get here. And he slid into second, and he blew up his tibia.
Rule number 1, identify
know where this is
your
going.
surroundings. So know what you're getting yourself into. Measure, like calculate the worth of the situation.
But
So if you're
remember, he is a track star, former track
Yeah.
star, track coach. So he's
exactly,
an athlete.
so you don't, unless you really need to go for that gold, you're never diving across the finish line. And guess what? Second base isn't the finish. You need to get home, and it's slow pitch. They don't even use a real home. It's a stupid chalk line, so no one gets hurt. The whole point is you don't get hurt in slow pitch. Why are you sliding into second base? No offense, Ryan. I think you're a great guy if you're playing competitive slow pitch. If you're playing co-ed slow pitch,
Oh,
don't be a douchebag. Be nice to the girls. Let them play first base. Let them play rover. Let them play third. Let them pitch as long as they
Dude,
got the mask on.
Let them play anywhere. It's
yeah,
co-ed.
it's co-ed. It's for
Co-ed.
fun. You don't
Everyone
need to be
play
a stud.
together. But he did say it was a questionable little blooper, and he was wondering if he could beat it out or not. So he had to really go for it. Who's
My
calling?
annual wife.
Here we go.
Hello, my wife. I'm on the air again. That's what I called to tell you. I'll be home shortly, but
We'll make sure he gets out.
I did pull some ground beef. That needs to get cooked today, but I could do that later if you wanted to have some of those Costco-ish items, if the kids want them. We have a chicken pot pie, and then we have the
What's the meat going to go
the
to?
taco. With
Tacos?
the meat, maybe just make some ground beef so that the kids can eat it because they're by themselves tomorrow.
Oh, no. Party time.
Every single day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to What's for Supper Tonight with
They're
Coach
not hungry.
Mazer. As we have his beautiful, lovely wife, Sarah, on the
I
line
wonder
right
if
now.
they did their workouts today.
They're doing-
I heard it was too smoky out to do the hockey training.
I can only imagine.
Okay.
That smoke's really putting
Well,
a
I love you
damper
very
on everything.
much.
I love you too, Sarah, so much. Aw. She's the best. You're
Okay,
such
bye.
a lucky guy.
Why does she always say that she loves you and she never says she loves me? She just says, "Okay, bye."
Because she knows.
That
I've known her longer than you,
That
probably.
is
Yeah.
true.
That's it. I
What
was
is
in
it
her house
called?
before you.
John
John
Lake.
Lake. John Lake? You say John
I have
Lake?
exciting news.
Here we go.
We haven't
That's
like
what
I
I'm
don't
here
know
for.
what my purpose is on your show because everyone's always promoting something. I feel like I got to write a book. Maybe I'll write a book.
Network Ryan's book is out right now. You can catch it online. It's
Really?
an ebook, yeah.
An ebook.
Yeah. It's
That's a very slide into second during slow pitch way of writing a book. You know what I mean?
man, you got to beat out that double. You got to
Yeah,
leg it out.
That's true.
You're not. You
I
don't
mean,
wanna
you're
be the guy.
saving the trees, I guess.
Yeah.
But
and
he's still
it's-
taking up space. Are we ever getting this space back? We're always putting out content and we're creating more. Are we ever worried about running out of space?
I don't think we're in a trees situation yet, like we are on planet Earth, where we're burning up so many, so we have to plant so many to keep up.
Yeah.
I think we're still. Someone actually explained it to me not too long. I think it might have been LB talking about the amount of space out there and how people are turning that into an opportunity and buying this like never-ending space where storage goes for all your files and stuff,
Yeah.
and then renting it out just like a storage unit. So it's already happening where people are eating up whatever terabytes or some sort of bytes, megabytes, something from
Like go on GoDaddy or something and take up
Yeah.
all the website names. and
exactly, and sort of do that, but in like the sphere of that, like in Reboot, basically. If you were to be in the world of Reboot with Enzo and the team and dot matrix, lots of bytes in there, hexadecibel and all that stuff. I wanted
You
to
blew my
ask
mind.
you.
I wanted
about-
to say something, but go
Oh yeah,
ahead.
no,
No,
it's
you
your
go.
big, no, you have big
Yeah,
news.
that's fine.
No, I want.
That's good. I want you to.
I
ask
thought
the
your big
question.
news was you were going to write a book, and I was excited for that.
No, I would. I've always wanted to write a book, but I didn't know what. I've been inspired by many things, not enough to do any of them.
I like that. So, is there any news, or were you just getting me excited?
Well, no, I have news, but I don't like. I was a sport guy for a very short period of time, but then it's like hockey vacation, and the Jays suck, so it's not a very exciting time. But there's a couple of things I'd like to say about the sporting world, but I'll let you answer your question first, and if I remember it, I'll say it, and if
Perfect.
I don't, it'll be fine.
I love how you operate. Again, this is how Dude Podcast works, and it's so much fun because we go everywhere and everything all the time. A new episode 3, dropped right now, live for you to go and enjoy over at the old YouTube page. Speaking of Network Ryan making a slide into second and blowing up his tibia, I'm pretty sure it was you. I'm heading back a couple years, Rhino game, and there was a play at home. And if you play rec baseball, not so much slow pitch, but if you're on a rec baseball down, be it at Stonebridge or Licos or Deef, the batter's boxes are very concaved, and it's not very nice to slide in. Mm-hmm. And I know it was you that had the scorpion slide once, right? You remember
I
that?
don't know who did that. That was over 35. Someone did it. Kinger did it.
There you go.
Into third, and then I did it the next year as
Yeah.
well. I had a little one. I had just bought a brand new helmet, and it's one of these ones that are adjust that actually protect your head if you get hit in the head with the ball or you get
like
beaten
tightens
and
in
stuff.
type
It
of thing?
tightens in.
Yeah,
and
like the Reebok
it-
pumps for
the-
your head.
the bad thing about them, they stay on your head when you're running. You think that would be a good thing unless you do a head first slide, and you clip the brim of
Front
the helmet
little.
into the dirt just so slightly that then my chin slammed into my chest and my feet came up over my head
Hence the scorpion.
and the scorpion.
Yeah.
And you know what was beautiful?
Winds
No
of change
throw
was
on the
playing?
play.
Oh.
They conceded third to me. There was no throw. I was like, the ball was hit to center, so I'm booking it. I was like, I got to get down. No, they just threw it to second.
Oh,
Speaking of funny baseball things,
Yes.
maybe one of the quirkiest guys of all time in the majors, his name, and he's kind of a throwback to
absolutely.
like not quite the Yogi Berras of the world, but he has unique quibs and unique cadence.
Very-
I relate to the man quite a lot.
Very self-aware.
Yeah, and he's very very quirky. I find him very funny. But his name is Joey Votto, and he decided to retire yesterday.
And keep in mind, the Jays already sucking. They decided to suck even more by not acknowledging, like, you're done. Your season's done. You got nothing going on, Jays. Bring in I almost swore that. Bring in a Canadian kid who grew up cheering for your team. He was already in your system. Give him one game.
Well, I would say one game.
That's
like
it.
yes and no against
one game.
Cincy for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe even on the road. But he already had his little au revoir with Cincy, so he didn't really need that. He wanted to earn his way back. I think he would have made it back if he didn't have that freak
The
accident.
ankle. I saw you on Twitter
and
making a
high ankle
statement about
sprain.
that.
Did I?
Yeah.
I said that. Who was
Yeah.
I talking to?
Some sports,
Mitchell,
some big
Scott
sports
Mitchell.
media guy. Yeah.
He said, maybe you're correct. That was his verse. Hey, at least he responded to me.
Well, that's
But yeah,
basically
like, so-
you are correct from like Twitter.
Yeah. I think he could have made it back. It is unfortunate that injury kind of derailed his comeback. And when you're that old, injuries take a little bit longer, and he knows that. He wasn't playing very good. He didn't have a lot of hits in the minors, and I think he was just slowly coming back. But at the same time, it's not that you hand it to him, but it's like when you're making moves. This is the team that had, and I like the guy,
Preach
but
it.
Vogelbach on the starting roster, like he made the team. There's no way that guy makes a team.
You dropped him in your tweet as well.
Did
like
I?
Guys like Vogie.
Like
Go
Vogie, but like Vogie, and then you're bringing back. Kiermaier adds value. He's a great character guy. He's very handsome. He's still good
handsomest.
defensively. He had arguably his second best career offensively last year. So some of these ads that they had, maybe not for the cost, but we've said this again. Like, it's not our money.
Yeah.
We're not worried about the cap. If you're really interested, you pay attention to those cap dollars, because that usually is a sign of what your team's going to look like in the future and how they react and how they spend money. So
Hold on,
if
so
you're
you're
really
saying
into that,
If
but-
you are trying to find a reason to cheer for a team that is in rebuild mode, you should be cheering for the cap. That's what I feel like. I should be following the cap, and that's what I'll cheer for,
should-
seeing that number go up for that expenditures in the offseason.
Right. So when you're saving or you're developing, so the guys right now that they have on the roster, a lot of them may not even make the team next year, but they're doing a little audition, or they're doing little positional battles they don't have to do in the springtime. They're getting it out right now and allowing the team to say, okay, this is going to be the guy. This guy's going to be on the outs. He's got maybe 1 year left before he hits his arbitration years, where his value might start declining. So maybe we'll trade these guys. So it all makes sense.
And dare I say, these guys are stepping up and earning. Like an Ernie
playing
Clement,
great.
he's going to be
Yeah.
your starter third next
And
year.
he's playing what?
And Spencer Horwitz, he can play
Hits
second,
bombs.
right? That dude is amazing. These guys are showing up. That's the big thing.
It's exciting. And I think that's the way they should go. It's like, don't give up. Go with unreal starting pitchers. Try and build that bullpen up again. Maybe bring in one more bona fide guy to take or to support Vladdy a little bit more, or bring in a guy that maybe needs support that Vladdy could provide. You know what I mean? A guy
Yeah,
that's
big
maybe
brother, little
not
brother.
quite that superstar, but
He can
he's
teach them how to get to the next level.
like a Soler, or I don't know, I could say a bunch of guys, but guys that are maybe not quite at that level, but if they have that guy behind them, they might be.
Yeah. What's
Kind of like a Teoscar,
man,
you know, man?
I was watching a Dodgers game last night. I still can't believe
and he's doing so good.
he's so. Again, you're in LA, like they're the best team in baseball. I don't know
You
if
know
they
what?
are this year, but like
They're the best team.
organization, right? Like they spend.
It's tight in the MLB
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
great. I saw Kiermaier's over at the Dodgers too. There's
That
Jays
Biggio
all
got
over the place.
released,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a sad
That's
one.
sad. Bring
You
him
can't-
back.
He shows up when he does. What's your thoughts on Bo? What's with the Bo drama? I know a lot of people, when you ask them who's your favorite Blue Jay, it's either Vladdy or it's Bo.
Yeah.
Bo is apparently saying he
Boba
wants out.
Fett. You know what? I think I was the one that came up with that Boba Fett thing with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, no,
mask
you
and
did.
stuff.
It's in our fantasy baseball draft.
And I have old photos, and I think I shared them on the Twitter. I think they got thieved, and then
Oh.
it blew up.
Someone
So
stole your coolness?
I think someone stole
That's not
that, but it's not that creative. Someone was obviously going to come up with that. I think he's gone. He doesn't.
Oh, I
I don't think he wants to sign long term.
not
I
wanna
don't think he
hear
I don't think he loves the direction of the team, and it's a lot of pressure. I think he. It's not that he wants to take a back seat, because I don't know the guy, but I know there's some personal stuff going on. I think it's trying being in the same place, and just as you're supposed to turn that page, it falters like this. So it looks like it could be a step behind. There's been teams that have taken this little step back before, and the very next year they're back on top, or they're back whatever. There's teams like San Francisco that there's not a traditional scale to the top. They just kind of go up and down.
2011, 2013, 2015, like every second year they won a World Series on a stretch. Like, it's nuts.
It's crazy. So I don't think
injuries is the big thing.
Injuries is a big thing. You got to stay healthy. But I don't think it's. I don't think the Jays are out of the. They should be written off completely. But
I agree.
They should get rid of people that don't want to be there. And if Bo Bichette, it's time to move on. Well, so long. See you later, and then see what they can get for him.
That's the big thing.
I don't think it's that crazy. I think there's still potential there. I think some teams will pay to have a shortstop that plays.
Dude, it's not even that. He led the American League in hits 2 of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
the best
value
hitter in the American League 2 of the last 4 years, and everyone talks about him like he's garbage, like he's accomplished nothing, and it's always gets me so riled up, because you look at the stats and he's had the most hits in the American League twice.
I think he's there's just something going on. It's just an off year.
You know, and I also
I'm having an off year. You wait till 2025. Ryan's gonna have a great.
I love
year.
this, Ryan. I can't imagine what that one's gonna be like.
Having an off year.
I honestly believe that the fans of the Blue Jays, the people that are saying, why is Bichette even here? He's a career minor leaguer. This guy has no business playing shortstop. It started out with he can't play defense, so he went out and eliminated his errors. Like the one year he had like 24 errors, the next year he had like 5. He fixed that while still leading the league in hits, and still people are chirping him saying he doesn't belong on this team, when in fact he's the best player on the team. I get so mad.
One of the best players.
Dude, sorry, let me fix that. In the American League.
For hitting.
Yes.
Yeah. And
he brought down, like, he worked on his defense every day, and it showed. He lowered his error.
Good.
Like, he's done everything he's supposed to.
He was adequate.
And that's the problem. When fans like you call that adequate. That's not adequate.
No, he
that's
was
above
adequate
and beyond.
defensively. He was unreal offensively. He was upper echelon. There was one year, wouldn't have been ESPN, maybe Bleacher Report sucks. I don't know who it was, but it was. But sometimes I like looking at the Bleacher Report little lists, because that's one of my favorite things to make lists. But
you've established that.
Maybe it was MLB Network. It's probably MLB Network had in their top shortstops, and he was always omitted. And guys would bring his name up, but omitted. And then going into this year, he was listed. He was on there. He was a Hahn. He wasn't a top 5. But he was an honorable mention at some. I don't know if he was 6th or 7th or whatever. This is in all of baseball. It's like, keep your eye on this guy. These 6 to 10 guys. He was one of them.
Maybe there's pressure there.
I don't think so. I don't think the guys worry about what someone says on MLB Network.
Well, everyone's different. I know a lot of people in this very business that we are in that read every comment and go through everything, and it drives them absolutely insane. That's why I always say, hey, get yourself a Wendy Brooks Media, best in the biz. All
She'll
of my
read those
mental
comments.
anguish, she does it for you. All of that, my mental anguish that was caused by all of that stuff, gone, thanks to her.
So if you're so affected by the comment section of a little, maybe it's what comment section were you worried about?
I have no idea. There's comments
hated
somewhere.
them.
Yeah, it's just like it's like with the text line and the phone line at the old
that
job.
one.
It's the ability for you to be opened up, and anyone can say anything to you at any time. And unfortunately, we're at a point on this earth where all anyone ever wants to say is negative stuff. That's the problem.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm out of it now. I'm great. I'm
But
saying
I'm
it might be
still,
easy for Bo to fall under that too, though.
But I haven't stopped doing that to you.
You're not who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, good.
Come on, man. Jeez, don't be weird. You love lists. As we're hanging out with Coach Number 2, you know him as the co-host of Dude Podcast, the right-hand man, and Mr. Everything around here. I want a list from you, Coach Number 2, before we head out for the day.
What's bulge today?
Ooh, that's way better than my list.
Okay, go ahead.
Now you got me thinking about bulge. Bulge, by the way, a great term you can use for anything that's awesome or sweet or baller. It's bulge.
It's like
his outfit today, that button-up V-neck, bulge.
Yeah.
It's a bulge shirt.
Just pop and twine.
There you go. For this list, I want you to give us your top 3 returns that you would want for a Bo Bichette trade.
Oh, dude.
I know.
There's
I wanted to make it broad. I wanted to make it hard. And I just want you to go. Just follow your gut. Let us
Okay,
know.
then I gotta. What's this cortex?
Cerebral cortex?
Pre.
I know it's. Oh,
there's
no,
a
the medulla oblongata.
Anyway, I just want to get out that I'm excited that Braden Yager was traded
Big trade today for
to the Jets. Okay, I'm not stalling. I just that's right
good.
here,
Yeah,
and
it's all good.
I got to get it out. So I'm super excited. What Chevy got for McGroarty, and just like a guy that didn't want to show up, and
the guy
that
I'd never
contract,
heard
that
of, by the
agreement.
way.
Yeah,
I never heard of this guy.
He was a 14th overall pick in 2022. He played college. Really good prospect.
That's why I never heard of him as a college guy.
Juniors for the U.S. He's a really good player, but he just did not want to come play for the Jets, and he didn't feel that he had an avenue to play right away.
For everyone who says location doesn't matter, Winnipeg and Edmonton and Calgary will argue with you a lot.
Well, that location, and then if there's room for them to step in and play right away, and he wants to play this year in the NHL, and he might
Be blocked by bigger
might be
veterans.
blocked. So
Yeah.
Penguins have a spot for him, and then local guy Yager goes to
Love
the
it.
Jets, and now I'm excited for the Jets again. I'm actually haven't been this excited for a while. I can't wait to watch that. Okay, let's go back to Bo Bichette. Returns for Bo Bichette, right?
so dude podcast right now.
I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
But I couldn't think, I couldn't get it out.
No,
I needed to get that out, or I would just stall
sweating over
on
here.
air.
Yeah, you go,
It's a
girl.
little bit warm. We can't say names because it's irrelevant. No one here is going to be like, oh, that 5th ranked guy from some
Yeah.
farm
Well, we're not
system.
talking. You don't have to go prospect
So-
specific.
The Jays have.
What do you think he's going to be valued at? Are they going to look?
He's still a 3-piece guy. It's either a player, a serviceable player in the MLB, someone that they could insert, which they don't really need because they have all these guys that could spread around. They have an upcoming shortstop stuff. So maybe a guy that could stopgap for a year, and then 2 bona fide prospects. So it'd be a 5th ranked guy in a system, and maybe a 25th ranked guy in a system. So that would be the simple return for Bichette, and it's not that exciting. But
Do you
it could
think
be.
it would be something similar to what they got for Kikuchi with his trade to the Stros? Like, you want to talk about win-wins, like a couple top
I don't
level
think so.
prospects. Then
I
have
think
a guy go out and just crush it.
whenever someone they see a path to winning because Seattle's faltering, and so they have a stranglehold on their division, and really now they're just a couple wins away from
being the Astros,
doing what they do again. I think they overpaid.
Yeah,
for
sure they
Kikuchi,
did.
for sure. So I don't know if any team would do that, but
I guess it's different too in the off season because you're not chasing anything.
yeah, I don't like. Maybe I would have to really dive into the needs of some of the teams and
Some of your
who's
homework.
who's little weak at shortstop.
I think this list will be one of your best ever.
But you wouldn't see him go to the Angels or something like that. But maybe the Reds, or maybe a team that's like up and down, like they're just not kind of finding that surge that they need to continue on. But I could see him in a Reds uniform. I don't know why.
I just hope that they value him for his actual value instead of playing off one bad year. You know what I mean?
That's how you do it. That's
Yeah.
like same thing we play armchair sports, fantasy stuff. If you're trading, that's the Dean Bentley classic. He'll pump tires of a not like to try and fool you, but a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's
Just
a
to
part
let
of the
you know
game
how
to
good
just
this
like
player is
this
that you're
guy's
being
lights
offered.
out in the first part of the year, and he's offering you this, and all I want is this guy who's struggling, but he knows is going to come out, and he's got a history
hot
of
at the right
coming
time.
out, get hot. So that's going to be the play. This guy struggled. This is all we'll offer, and then hopefully the Jays say no. He's
More
a,
than that.
a huge valuable.
Is there any chance that he stays in Toronto?
No, I don't think so.
It's done, hey? Nothing.
I think it's done because they gotta make a choice. They gotta lock someone up long term, and I don't think they're gonna lock someone in for a large contract that is coming off not a strong year, but also may not want to be there in the first place. So why would you pay an exorbitant amount of money for that?
And you know that exorbitant amount of money is going to Vladdy.
That money's going to Vladdy for sure.
Well deserved, by the way. God, he's turned it around. It's a perfect example what you talk about. A guy who can struggle most of the year, but you know eventually he's going to come around, and then you get him. If you were to pick him up in fantasy even a month and a half ago, boy, oh boy, is he contributing now.
I said this on a show on maybe your show a while ago, and it might have been episode 2 or 3, and I traded Vladdy to Spuddy Grant Hansen for
Spuddy.
Spencer Strider. And
Strider
he offered here, it's Vladdy, but give me Strider. And I was like, there's no way, that's just not realistic. Vladdy's didn't start really well. And I was like, you know what? I love Vladdy. I want him to do good. I've had success in this fake league that we watch athletes do, and they mean nothing.
Have, yes.
I haven't done that great. I don't think I've ever won.
Dude, I'm always last.
You're not. You're middle of the pack. You're doing okay. But anyway, so I agreed to it, and then Strider's arm blows up. I look pretty smart. Pretty smart about
Poor
that.
Spuddy. Is that why he's not top of the? Is he top of the hops? I haven't even looked at the
He's
standings in a bit.
fifth-ish.
He's still in there.
Yeah, he's doing good.
He's
This
so
is
good
the
at fantasy
Ricky
sports.
Romaro fantasy baseball league. If
We're
you
in a
want
lot
to
of
Google it
fantasy
on
sports
Yahoo,
Can you Google it and check?
you
the
can.
stats?
You can look it up.
Don't look it up. You'll see how brutal I am at it.
It's not private. I think it's public. You can go view it.
That's fair. How many fantasy football? I was talking about how it's fantasy football draft season.
Mm-hmm.
How many leagues are in this year?
There's 3, and I want to get out of 2 of them. I'm done. I'm reached my point where I'm just not feeling it anymore. It's not
Your problem
exciting
is you
me.
run them all too. That's the biggest
I don't.
problem.
These are ones that I don't run. So the ones that I run are getting. You know, COVID killed a lot of things. It takes a huge effort to, just like you're here trying to run a business, trying to run a show every day, and have guests and trying to have people show up. Imagine doing that with 15 people or 20 people.
Impossible.
All at once, at least 10, one night that works for everybody. You have to pick the date, and you have to people that want to be invested to do it. Yeah. And so all of a sudden you can do things online. Just not the same thing as hanging out with your buddies. I could have Zoomed today. It's fine if you're in Australia. It's fine if you're in the Shuswaps. Yeah, but if you are, if you're just 18 minutes away, it's a little bit better if you drive in. And so you had to get here. So it's different. So there's a few that I want to get out. So I'm in 3.
Okay.
But I also, do you do mock drafts at all?
No, no.
So I do, but I don't do real mock drafts. I'll be like, it'll be the end of the day, but I'll do a draft that I'll enter some draft that's no money. It's just a bunch of people I have no idea, and it's through Sleeper, it's through ESPN, it's through Yahoo. But I do that just so I can get caught up on where everybody is and where everybody else is gauging them. So when I show up to these things, that there's guys that are invested, and they watch these guys through college, and they watch the system that they've landed in, and they know they just are into it more than I am. Yeah. I just have to make sure I don't get too fooled. You know what I mean?
Don't get fooled again. Bum, 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 bum. Remember that song?
I do.
Won't get fooled again. It's The Who. The Who does it. It's
arguably
from,
the best
CSI.
dude podcast of all time was the episode where I was at one of these football drafts.
Yes.
And you had Brando and JT in, and you guys played a bunch of sound bites that a couple radio guys were doing about wrestling and stuff like that.
John Cena.
My kids listened to that. So what was that, 10
fun.
years ago? My kids have grown up with that thing, and they listen to it at least 5-6 times a year. It's pretty fun.
So funny to me. And I will say this with you asking about the... Actually, we should probably get some Frankie's Fingers rolling there.
Oh, it's time.
Yeah. But
I got to
will
go
say
coach
this.
some fall ball. I'm doing fall ball.
Of course you are.
And just for fun, just some kids, no cost, really anything. Just get out and have some fun with some kids.
I love that.
Anyway, you were saying.
You're amazing. Thank you for doing all that stuff for the kids. Last year was my first year as a full-time fantasy football manager. As
you didn't invite
went
me.
into
That's
the
fine.
season.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm just saying that I didn't have an actual job to take me away from my fantasy football duties. And
I see.
so
Yeah.
with that, like I have 5 teams, and I have 5 teams again this year, but 3 of those 5 we made it to the championship final. Won one of them. And I think it was because I didn't put so much work into it. Because when I was at work at the old place, I would always, the first thing I would do when I get into work, I'd get all my duties done, then I'd go over all my teams. And I look, who's hot, who's not, who should I bring in, who should I trade? And I overthought all of my teams so much. And then once I didn't have that place where I go every day to do that, I wasn't checking up all the time, and I was just letting my gut do the picking and the moving. And it led to almost damn near 3 titles.
You had good gut health last year.
That was it. A gut healthy fantasy football season, I guess, for all of them.
How's Phenom doing in there?
He's doing good. He's just looking.
He looks warm. You warm in
I
there?
I got you. Yeah, we got the piano going.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, so you can play.
I'm
I
not-
should have told you.
I'm not into it. Like, it's so, like, I've told you this
You
before.
got to have it in your ear.
You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just here looking. And then Cuthbertson's so good at
Dude,
it.
you look like Billy Joel right now.
I wish
Look
it
at
was
him.
Billy Joel. This is the first time I've been on the YouTube without a hat on.
You look great. I'm so happy you didn't cut the hair. He was thinking about cutting his hair. Thank God you
I
didn't.
love
It's beautiful.
Billy Joel.
What's not to love? Anyways, thank you to everyone who joined us today. CTV's Matt Young. We were cleaning controllers. He was teaching us how to take apart a Sega Genesis controller.
I had to clean one. I bought one on the Kijiji once, and it was the most disgusting thing I ever had. And I almost backed out of it. Then I was like, I could clean it.
That's it. There's always something nice underneath all that. So we started this thing where we're going to be fixing controllers from old retro systems as well as actual systems. So we got a nice little 6 or 7 or 8 part series, which will be very
So sick.
exciting.
I'd
So,
like to
thank
tell
him
you
for that. Yeah.
that you got me on a Baseball Stars.
Yes.
trip,
Are we
and
gonna go play?
I played Baseball Stars last night.
It's amazing. Hey, karma's very real. Remember that. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, Phenom.